Right, today we get to do the good stuff, okay? So we're going to be factorizing quadratic expressions, and can I just remind you that a quadratic expression, and I want you to write this down as well, is something that looks like ax squared plus bx plus c. Now, we always use a, b and c here for these three things. So a is always the number that is in front of the x squared term, b is always the number that's in front of the x term, and c is always the number that's on its own, right? So we need to get used to that. Now, when we factorize a quadratic expression, it always ends up looking like this here. So it's always the two brackets, okay? And remember, we're doing the reverse of FOIL here, okay? Now, I'm just going to go straight into these examples here. I'm slightly worried that I'm not going to have enough room. There's not that much space here. If I don't, I can write it on a page. You'll have to write it on a separate page as well then. Let's see how we get on with the first one, okay? So the first thing that we need to do is to list what a, b and c are. So in this equation here, where we have x squared plus 7x plus 12, a, remember, is the number in front of the x squared term, so that's 1. B is the number in front of the x, so that is 7. And c is the number in front, or sorry, the number that's on its own, so that's 12. Now, the next thing we do is write down what the product of a and c is. So a multiplied by c, well, a is 1 and c is 12, so ac is 12. Stick with me. Now, the reason for that is that really we are looking for two numbers that multiply to give us this 12, but those two numbers also have to add to give us the b value, okay? So they also have to add to give us 7. Now in one like this, it's actually relatively straightforward to see what those numbers are going to be. You've maybe figured it out already. Oh, this is not focusing, hold on. I think that's a wee bit better. Now, what was I saying? Yeah, you can already maybe think what the numbers are, but we're going to do the method properly so that whenever it gets onto the harder ones, the same method will always work, okay? So I'm going to move this down so that I am not in the way of my working out here. So we've done this. The next thing we do is make up a little table. So we're really looking for numbers that multiply to give us 12, and I got that from here. So from the product of a and c, the a and c, what those multiply to get, that's what you're getting here. And we're also looking for those numbers to add to give us the b value, 7. So I might add that in here actually. So add to give us that, just as a wee reminder, okay? Then all you need to do is to work your way down through the factors of 12, so things that multiply to give us 12. So 1 multiplied by 12 gives us 12. If I add these together, 1 and 12 gives me 13. Is that 7? No, so I keep on trying. Let's see, 2 and 6. They multiply to give me 12. 2 plus 6 gives me 8. Is that 7? No. 3 multiplied by 4. 3 multiplied by 4 gives me 12. Add 7. Now we're on to something. So I'm going to do a wee circle around those because they're the ones that I'm going to use. Okay. Now, next step, I'm trying to think where to go so I don't run out of room. Write out your equation again. So my equation was x squared plus 7x plus 12. Now, this is where we need to be super careful. We take this information here, right? And see this 7x, we're really going to split it up into 3x and 4x, okay? So my next line here is going to be x squared plus 3x plus 4x, and then still the plus 12. So going from this line to this one, all I've done is split this 7x up into 3x and 4x, and I knew to do it in 3 and 4 because of this here. Okay, I know this seems confusing at the start, but we've got 5 examples here. Hopefully by the end of it we'll all be on the same page. Now, your next step is to look at these first 2 terms together and the second 2 terms together, and we're going to do a bit of factorising. And things like this we're used to factorising already. Okay, so if I look at these first 2 terms and think, right, well, what's common to both of those terms? X. So I can bring x outside of the bracket. So that gives me x, and then x multiplied by x gives me the x squared. X multiplied by 3 gives me 3x. Yeah? Now, here's the sneaky thing. I look at my next 2 terms and I'm going to do the same. I'm going to factorise them, but I need to make sure that my thing that's left in the bracket matches with this one. So you're thinking, right, what can I bring outside of the bracket here to factorise it? What's common to both of these terms? But that also has to leave you with x plus 3 in the bracket. So that is going to have to be bringing plus 4 out. Does that make sense? I hope so. Because 4 multiplied by x gives us 4x. 4 multiplied by 3 gives us 12. Now, one last step. See if we think about, let me see. See if we think about this all being one term and this all being one term. Then we can factorise again. Okay? And do you see how x plus 3 is the common term in both of those? So if I bring x plus 3 out, I'm left with x plus 4. So I would write that as x plus 4, x plus 3. Okay? Now, I'm definitely not going to fit all these examples on this page. You're going to have to get some more paper to do these because you need to be setting these out the exact same way as me. So pause me, go get some paper to write on. We'll do the rest of the examples on random pages, okay? Okay, so here's example 2. Hopefully you have written that out on a page somewhere, and do keep this with your notes. Now, first step, write out what a, b and c are. So a is the number in front of the x squared term, so that is 1. B is the number in front of the x, so that is 8. And c is the number in front of the 16, or not in front of the 16, c is the number that's by itself, so that is 16. Now, remember, what is the next step? Write down AC. So AC is the number 1 multiplied by the number 16. So number C, I keep saying the wrong thing. So that gives us 16. Now we do our table. I might work it down this way actually this time. So we're looking for 2 numbers that multiply to give us 16 and that add to give us, which is it? The number in front of the x. So they're looking to add to give us 8. And same again, just work your way through the factors. So 1 multiplied by 16 gives us 16 obviously. If I add those together I get 17, that is not 8. 2 multiplied by 8 gives me 10 if I add those together. Again, not 8. 4 multiplied by 4, ooh, gives me 8. So remember what this information tells us then? It tells us that we are going to take this 8x and split it up into 4x and 4x, and then that'll allow us to do a wee bit of factorising. Okay, so start off with our equation, x squared plus 8x plus 16. Split this 8x up into 4x and 4x. So x squared plus 4x plus 4x plus 16, right? Then if we look at our first 2 terms and we factorise those, so look and see, right, what is the common term to both of these? And we can bring x outside of the bracket. So x, and then that leaves us with x plus 4. Can you see that? Because x times x gives us x squared. x multiplied by 4 gives us 4x. Then we look at the second two terms and we do the same. We're factorising, we're looking to see, right, what can I bring outside of the brackets? But remember the wee trick, we're looking to make sure that inside the bracket matches with this first one. So there's my bracket. I can bring 4 outside of this bracket, but let's check before I write that down, does that leave me with x plus 4 in it? It's going to. So if I bring 4 out, and everything's positive here, so that is going to be a positive. A little bit later on we're going to have to be super careful with our signs, right? Let's see, so I'm factorising this and I get that, because 4 multiplied by x gives me 4x, 4 multiplied by 4 gives me that 16. Now I factorise again, so x plus 4 is like the common term here, and I'm left with x plus 4 again. So my next line is x plus 4, x plus 4. Okay, let me see what example 3 is. Right, example 3 is whenever we start to see ones with negatives in them. So I'm actually going to leave that for today, and we'll do an exercise that is all positive numbers, so it's like these two examples. Now, as I said earlier, I know this seems a little bit random at the start, but see if we can nail this method now. It really, really will help you for GCSE maths, and especially whenever we go on to do the harder ones where there's numbers in front of the x squared term. Okay, so remember, ask me anything that you're stuck on. I am very happy to help. I will list down what exercise you have to do now. Okay, bye.